Hi, everybody. I'm Gloria Moraga, political woman. Thanks for being here. So it's Friday, November 8th, 2024. 3 days since the worst happened. 3 days since Election Day, and this thing was called. And it's, the political people on TV just had that face. They had that failure face really early. I want to almost say when the day started, they had the failure face. And I was flipping it back and forth between CNN, which I hate, and MSNBC, which I hate less. And I'm vowed I'm not going to watch them anymore the rest of the year. But yeah, the worst has happened for our country. For some reason, more of them than us decided to make a convicted felon, a man who was impeached twice, and that may go up now, a man who tried to block the peaceful transfer of power 4 years ago, the man who's found guilty by a jury of attacking a woman in a dressing room at Bloomingdale's, for God's sakes, and on and on. I'm not going to go into it all. Right now, somewhere, Jack Smith, special prosecutor, is packing up his office and probably shredding his documents, not any important documents, but his stuff, because charges are going to be dropped against Donald Trump. Here is Donald Trump's quote during his victory speech. Quote, "We are going to fix everything about our country. We made history for a reason tonight," he said. "It is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing." So I wanted to share with you some thoughts about the election and some thoughts about voting in America and some thoughts about not giving up. A couple things. In 2024, 244 million Americans were eligible to vote. You know how many people voted? 140 million Americans cast ballots in the 2024 election. Less than 50%. Less than 50% of us vote in this country. Why? I don't get it. I just don't get it. I've talked to people who don't vote. I talk to people who are checked out. I talk to people who don't care. And they just don't think it matters whether they vote or not. I had people I worked with tell me, "You're covering this election like it's, your full life, and the election's going to come and it's going to go, and it's not going to be one bit of difference to me." I had a photographer, really nasty guy, who used to say that to me all the time. "It's not going to affect my life at all. I'm still going to have everything I have and, everything I don't have." Yes, coincidentally, he was a straight white man. And I would look at him and say, I'm sure. So Trump is vowing that he's going to fix everything about our country. And boy, he has gone through the list of everything that's wrong with our country. And he's got minions. He's got people standing by to dismantle the federal government. Because that's, for some reason, what they've decided that they want to do, and it's something they've wanted to do for as long as I've been alive. So we shall see. So they will begin. He's going to begin on day one. He's going to become a dictator on day one, he said. Now, the way he said it, I think he's been misquoted. The way he said it was he's only going to be a dictator on day one because he wants to do some things. One of the things he wants to do is deport millions, and those are his numbers, millions of illegal immigrants. So that's going to get started, I'm assuming, on day one. He also wants to dismantle the Department of Education. They want to slash the federal budget, but they also want to give massive tax cuts to the rich and to others. Now, they're saying cut taxes on tips and other things. We shall see. We shall see how that works, because if he gives the tax cuts that he's promised big business, the deficit is going to skyrocket. We are going to be buried in debt. If he decides on going forward with the tariffs, which is a tax, which people don't seem to connect, the synapses aren't snapping for some people, our prices are going to go up for everything. So that's going to be difficult. How's that going to work? And if he deports all of the immigrants who are working in this country, who are a part of the fabric of America, there's going to be some collapsing here and there and everywhere. Now, Elon Musk, one of his sycophants, has warned us all that it's going to be painful. Now, it's going to be painful for us. It's not going to be painful for him. Understand, there's a difference between rich and poor. There's a difference between middle class and rich. A big difference. If you have a lot of money, everything is different. You can move. You can do what, what's the dude who criticized Biden and started this whole mess? Oh, yeah, the man, I'm never going to ever go to another one of his movies. I actually have been deleting some of the movies that I've downloaded of his that I've paid for. Clooney, thanks. Thanks a lot. Now, I'll get to more on Biden in a minute, but on Trump, we shall see. So now more than ever, I hear people, Keith Olbermann and others, saying they're going to cut back. I've read some newspapers and mainstream media websites. They're going to stop. They're stopping their election coverage. And I don't know what that means, if that means that they're going to cut back on their political coverage, because who knows? Because I have had to cancel my subscription to my favorite newspaper, the Washington Post, because Jeff Bezos runs it, and I'm not supporting anything that he has a part of. Because he's a billionaire, he runs Amazon. I've got some things I have to return to Amazon, and then I'm canceling that. I like Prime. I like it. Canceling it. My granddaughter said, "You're not going to cancel Prime, the streaming?" And I said, "Yes, I am. Just like I don't eat Chick-fil-A and I don't go to Home Depot." We have to stand up to these people. We are the people. They are billionaires and they're buying elections. And if that doesn't concern you, let's see how you feel at the end of next year. Let's see how you feel at the end of 2026. I'm Gloria Moraga. I'm a political woman. I've covered politics for 30 years. And what's happening now is not good. It's not good. What he's promised to do, what he said he was going to do, what they're planning to do is not good for this country. For the rich to be in total control is not good. Right now, the Senate is going to be controlled by Republicans, and it looks like the House will also be controlled by Republicans. And the Supreme Court is controlled by right-wing extremists. So we are in a pickle, my friends. We are in a pickle. And the only way we're going to get out of this pickle is a number of ways. We depend on our Democrats in the United States Senate to use everything they've got to do what Mitch McConnell did to Barack Obama. Stall, block, filibuster. And I think we can do it. We better be planning, because this is what we have to do. And I know they know it. So they don't need me to tell them that they need to do it. I have written, and I have this graphic, so take a look. This just breaks down how people voted and the different demographics. You see who is voting for Trump. Men overwhelmingly voting for Trump. But yet, the shocking number here under gender is the women. Sisters. My sisters. My loves. What are you doing? What are you doing? When reproductive freedom is gone, it's not going to be good for your fellow sisters. Race. We see how divided we are. You see white, and then you see black. I'm sorry, I'm Latina. I am humiliated by how Hispanic and Latinos voted. I'm humiliated by it for my... I don't even know what to say. I mean, I all my life said I'm a human being before I'm a Latina. Here's a man. His name is Victor Martinez. You saw him a lot after that Nazi rally at Madison Square Garden. And how anyone could vote for Trump after that, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm not going to talk about that right now. According to Victor Martinez, he runs a Spanish language radio station in Allentown, Pennsylvania. He says that Latinos are chauvinists. They're chauvinist pigs. He didn't say that. I added the pig. Sorry. They don't want a woman president. Women belong in the kitchen. Yeah, women belong to carry the babies. And I'm saying this because I grew up in Fresno, California, surrounded by Latinos and Hispanic men. My father was one, my uncles, their friends, my cousins as they got older, all their friends, my brother, his friends. Latin men love men like Trump. I mean, yes, am I making a broad statement? Yes, I am. Because look at the numbers. He's promised to deport you. And people say, well, not me. Not me. It's going to be, the other guy. It's going to be the other dude. Yeah. I'm going to let that go because I've got a couple of other things that I want to say here. So here's the... look at the education. You see who's voting for Trump. You see the age group. What bothers me more than all of this is that the people who just don't vote. I started this podcast. I started doing this just to say, please vote, and try to show policy, what is going on in the Congress, what bills they're doing, what shenanigans they're up to, because they're always up to something. And just to show people, here's this on the House floor right now. Look what's happening. Please vote. Please, it's important. It does matter. And clearly I'm a big failure. But I'm not quitting. I will not quit. I'm going to keep trying as much as I possibly can. So I really am here to say one thing. Besides blathering on about all of this other stuff. I wanted to say that we have 2 years, my friends. Yes, I know. We just finished an election. It's like not even been a week yet. But here's the great thing about America. We have the checks and balances, but Trump and the Republicans have done everything they can to skew the checks and balances by gerrymandering and redistricting, and then his appointments to the Supreme Court. But in 2 years, so we'll have 1 year of Trump, really, and then the next election cycle will start campaigning. So they're going to mess it up. And they're going to hurt people. They're going to hurt immigrants, and they are going to hurt, I believe, disadvantaged people, so poorer people. And depending on what he does with his economic policy, he's going to screw up the economy. Because it wasn't his economy. You all know that. It sounded flip from Obama. But they're going to do something with Social Security and Obamacare. They've said it. It's already in the works. They're already planning it. They want to, dismantle the Department of Education. That's going to be painful and hard for the poor states that are unfortunately run by MAGAs. And know this, not every parent can homeschool their kids. It's like, oh, well, we'll give you money, the money will go back to the states, and then, you can educate your child any way that you want. That might help a middle-class family. That might help a family whose mother doesn't work, which is what they want. But it's not going to help the poor mom who's working 2 jobs and is single and trying to survive. So we shall see. We shall see. But we'll have next year for them to start doing this stuff. And then the next election cycle will be in full swing while it starts hitting home. We'll know soon how he doesn't have a plan for inflation. We'll know that soon. Fairly soon. If you're paying attention, if you don't vote and don't care, well, let's see how it shakes out. I want to mention, I was talking about sisterhood and the comments from the Trump people saying, well, people didn't care about abortion. They cared about the economy and they cared about immigration. Well, when Trump screws up the economy and Trump doesn't do anything right with immigration, then we'll see how you feel about not having any civil rights or rights as far as reproductive freedoms go. I want to show you this person. This person is named Susan Wiles. If that name sounds familiar, it's because her father was Pat Summerall, who's very famous broadcaster. He's like really famous. So look him up. Apparently, he was a world-renowned alcoholic and bully. And she learned through her life how to deal with this overbearing alcoholic man, her father. And when she got older, she became a Republican operative. She helped Ron DeSantis. I could go on and on about who she's helped, but a lot of people. Like Ron DeSantis would not have won the governorship if it hadn't been for her, according to reports. She's been behind Trump. She is now going to be, for the first time in history, we won't have a woman president, but for the first time in history, we are going to have a woman White House chief of staff. And it's going to be this dude, this woman, this woman. See, I could be really mean, like Trump. Susie, Susu, as her grandkids call her, Susu. And Trump says she's going to make us proud. First female White House chief of staff. Let's see how long she lasts. We should have bets on this. She's 67. Not a Trump-looking type woman, right? I mean, there were calls from Republicans to fire her when Trump was having trouble. And she's hung in there because she's apparently this Bengali behind the scenes. And there was a big article that I read in Politico where the reporter asked her, the reporter had access to her, they had coffee together at Starbucks. What about January 6th? What about January 6th, little Miss Summerall Wiles? What do you think about that? She said something really, I think, stupid for us, the reader, that it wasn't all his fault. Wow. And that she knows things about him that nobody else knows. And if everybody knew, they would know. They would understand why she supports him. Tell us! What is it? Is it they're eating the dogs? They're eating cats. Was it that? Or was it when he pretended he was giving a blowjob to the mic in front of children? I don't understand. But at least we're getting a woman chief of staff for the first time ever. I've blathered on. My point here in this podcast, the theme of this podcast is 2 years, my friends. We've got 2 years to get ready to win the House and the Senate back and to bury, and I don't mean physically, politically, bury these people, block them, do everything we can. And what we need to do is vote. We need to educate our Latinos, the Latinos that think women belong in the kitchen. They think women belong in the kitchen? Well, tell Trump that. Tell Wiles that. Go to the kitchen. Oh, I hear she makes great pound cakes. She makes like multiple pound cakes at the same time, and she's famous for them. Good for her. Bully for her. Meantime, they're going to destroy our country. And yeah, I believe that. If they do half the things he says he's going to do, half the things, a couple of the things, if they start the deportations, which they are, because you know what? Here's why. Here's why they're going to start the deportations. Because it's publicity. It's a publicity stunt. And he craves that. He wants children separated from their parents. He wants them crying. He wants them in cages. He doesn't care about people. And it's all on you. It's all on you people who voted for him. When we are just the disgrace of the world. The greatest country in the world, and we are a disgrace. We have elected a wannabe Hitler. We have elected a strong man because Latinos like macho. They like macho. I despair. But I don't. Because I'm angry that this happened. I was angry with Hillary, but more with Hillary, I was depressed. Now I'm just sick of it. I'm just sick of it. And no, I'm not taking the rest of the year off. Yeah, I'm old too. I have other things I want to do. I've got my novel here. That's good. I have my Pinch of Mexican website and videos that I want to produce for my family. Because I want to leave those Mexican dishes behind to live on after I'm dead. But no, I'm going to stick this out and do this and try to get people to see how they need to vote. And I understand. I do. People don't feel that they're qualified to vote. And I'm saying this because a lot of people are poor and a lot of people are uneducated and they don't think it's going to matter anyway if they vote. I just listened to an NPR interview from the last presidential cycle when they talked about how Hispanic men were not voting because they didn't think it would matter. Well, apparently they listened to right-wing podcasts and they like what they heard. And so they've been now over voting for Trump. So yes, if the Democrats are in trouble in that area, we need to fix it. We need to fix it right now. We don't take a day off. Don't rest. Keith Olbermann, I love you for loving your dogs. I lost my beloved dog this year. My beloved Thor. It was Keith Olbermann. I know. He's going to take a break for a couple, I don't know. I don't know how long. But whatever. I'm old too. And it's our job right now, before we die, to impart upon younger people, including all these macho bullshit boys that have their podcasts. And I mean, they're in their 20s. So they may not be boys chronologically, but emotionally, they're boys. And I know they're making millions and I'm making nothing, but I don't care. That's not the point. I have this freedom to do this too. For now. So I'm going to keep doing it. I pulled information on the stages of grief, denial, bargaining, depression, anger, acceptance. And I wanted to go through them and talk about how I've gone through this with Hillary and with other horrible things that have happened under this right-wing, fascist-leaning former Republican Party regime. And I've been very down about this, but now's not the time to be in depression. Now is the time to be angry and to fight back, because this isn't over. And there are things that we can do to block this legislatively and through the system. It's not over because he won. It's a 4-year term. And he, in order to become president for life, it's going to take a lot more than him saying, I'm president for life. And Don Jr. standing there, stoned out of his mind, trying to be another dictator. So, I'm Gloria Moraga. I'm Political Woman. Please subscribe. Please follow me on YouTube and TikTok. Please share. Please tell everybody. We've got a year before we gear up for the next election, but we need to be gathering content and spreading content right now, every day, to show the world that we may be down, but we're not out, and we're fighting for democracy, and it's not gone yet. Get ready to vote. And please subscribe. And most importantly, be safe.